Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Sunrise Auctions based in Japan, and we're going to have a look at their latest musical instrument auction. This is bowed strings. There's about 65 lots in this auction. Most of the lots are due to finish in under kind of 20 hours now on the 14th of December. It's the 13th today, and a few other lots due to finish on the 15th. These are ones here which say kind of 2 days left to go. So we've been on Sunrise Auctions a fair bit before. A lot of the things are kind of the same things over and over again, but recently and in the last video there has been a few new things, and I think there's a few new things today as well, so that's always a good sign. And there's always a few interesting things in this auction as well. Buyer's premium is kind of staggered, so if it's under £1,000,000 then it's 17%, over £1,000,000 it's 15%, and then over a certain amount, I can't quite remember, it goes down further, I think to 10%. That's maybe over 4 or 5 million yen or something like that. So at least they've got a tiered buyer's premium. So as always with these auctions, if you are outside of Japan, then bear in mind all of the kind of the shipping fees, import, export, all the other kind of things that you might kind of face, CITES restrictions, all of that stuff that happens when you are kind of buying an instrument from abroad. Anyway, I've said kind of enough now. Let's just crack on and have a look what we've got here. We'll have a look at most of it, as it's only a small auction, but we will kind of skip through the catalogues. So we've seen a few of these before. All of these books we don't really need to look at, this is all fairly normal. These have been here a while. Same with kind of accessories. Half-size Mittenwald violin, Neuner School, circa 1880. I can't actually remember if this is kind of been on before, and my memory is failing a bit, but in any case it will sell because the reserve is met and 100,000 kind of yen bid has been placed. Then we've got a silver and ebony mounted French cello bow by Claude Auguste Thomasin, Paris. That's going to sell as well. I think this is a newer one here. It's got a Raffin certificate, so the estimate is 600 to 800,000 yen. We've got bids of 550 kind of thousand yen there. So it's got a new ferrule but sold with the original, 75.5 grams. Modern Hungarian cello sold with bow and Gewa case, 350 to 450,000 yen there. Probably a good starter setup for someone there. Nickel mounted Brazilian wood viola bow stamped N. Duchenne, 4 to 6,000 euros. Sorry, 4 to 6,000 yen. Getting confused there again. Nickel mounted viola bow here, 35 to 55,000 yen. Interesting frog. A nickel mounted French viola bow by Prosper Colas, like a 1900s. Got a Gartsman certificate, 150 to 200,000 yen. Contemporary viola by J. Heidi. I think this has been here a couple of auctions now, but not as long as some other bits. Got 70 to 100,000 yen on that. An old Wiener viola labelled Johann Christoph Leidorf in Vienna, so an old Viennese viola. Have a feeling that we've seen this one before, but my memory is actually failing a little bit here. So 1 to 1.5 million yen on that. Nickel mounted Brazilian wood violin bow. It's got bids of 5,000 yen, so that will sell. Nickel mounted Brazilian wood violin bow also has a bid of 5,000 yen, so that will sell as well. Nickel mounted Brazilian wood violin bow, no bids placed on that, 4 to 6,000 yen. 3 violin bows, this has been here before. And same with this, a bunch of child's bows, we can ignore those. Nickel mounted violin bow stamp PC, 15 to 20,000 yen. Some more bows that we can ignore. Violin bow here, ivory button. So there we go. You've got to look at the endangered species policy, CITES, etc. 15 to 20,000 yen on that. Silver mounted violin bow stamped N. Lambert, 20 to 30,000 yen. A few of these bows are definitely new. Nickel and ebony mounted violin bow, or at least they haven't been on too many occasions. 35 to 55,000 yen. Nickel and ebony mounted violin bow, 35 to 55,000 yen. You can also ask for condition reports as well. You can just click on that. I've used it before and it did work well. There was a problem, I think, if you had a Gmail account, it wasn't working. So if you try and you have Gmail and you can't get the condition report, or it won't let you sign up to the website, then maybe try a different email, because they were having some problems with that, but hopefully they've sorted that now. Silver mounted violin bow stamped L. Panormo there, 45 to 65 yen, 65,000 yen even. Silver mounted modern German violin bow by Lothar Edwin Hermann, Mark Nukirkin, 1960s. Personal viewing is required. Okay, so it must be something dodgy with the stick then. 100,000 to 150,000 yen. Would definitely recommend looking at the condition report there. German violin bow by Otto Derschmidt, 90 to 120,000 yen. Silver and ivory mounted German violin bow by Lothar Seifert, 100 to 150,000 yen. Silver mounted violin bow by G.L. Panormo, Frog Later. Possibly head of stick is repaired. Okay, so well, that does look a bit dubious. I think we've seen this bow last time as well. Certificate from Gilles Chanceroul, 160 to 200,000 yen. It's quite a lot. Nickel mounted French violin bow by Cuneo Eugene Huri, Miracle, 1900. Got a Raffin certificate there, 2 to 300,000 yen. Silver mounted French violin bow by Émile Francois Huchard, Miracle, 300 to 500,000 yen there. Nickel mounted French violin bow by Marc Lebert. It's got a Raffin certificate, 400 to 600,000 yen. Silver mounted French violin bow by Joseph Arthur Vigneron. So that's 800 to a million yen. Significant. Modern Japanese violin by Minazawa Minezo, 1971, with case. We've seen this before. It needs like a good neck reset. Interesting back on it. Scroll is kind of a bit curious, but the length is kind of good. There's a few other instruments by this maker in the auction, of which they've all been for sale before. 30 to 50,000 yen on that, but it's going to cost a bit to repair. French inlaid violin with an old man's head. Now this was in before, but it actually has bids now, so this is, I think this was in before, and it's going to sell now for 35,000 yen, or at least anyway. So that's interesting to see. Modern European violin here, that's got a high bid of 35,000 as well. Another one that I can't quite recall if this was in the auction before or not, but length of back 359, not a lot of information on that one. French violin labelled Magini, 367, back length is absolutely huge, so I don't know how popular this is going to be. 35 to 55,000 yen. A violin. This I think was definitely in the last auction, with this interesting back seam. I presume that's a repair for a bad joint or something like that, so that's kind of curious. 35 to 55,000 yen on that one. Not really sure what's going on with that. Some repairs to the head, worth getting a condition report check on that one. German violin labelled Guadagnini. I think this one has been in before as well. 35 to 55,000 yen there. Violin labelled Francesco Guadagnini. This is a long-termer. This one has been around for quite a while. 50 to 70,000 yen there. I don't think there's anything much to see on that. Modern Japanese violin by Minazawa Minezo 1971 with case. This is another one by Minezo. This one in better condition here, I think, without the neck issue problems, but very similar outline and kind of scroll. 50 to 80,000 yen on this one, so not so kind of expensive, but another one that's been here a while. Violin labelled Carl Ushen Winterthur. This is a long-termer as well. 80 to 100,000 yen on this one. No takers so far. Modern English violin. This one has been here a while as well. Made for Francis Maldo Shannon by his father. Really interesting back on that. Interesting this line here. I actually asked for the condition report on this, and they're saying that it's not a crack, so we have to assume that it's probably like grain or something like that. But interesting looking violin. They're 70 to 100,000 yen that they're looking for. Let's see, a modern violin labelled JB Viome. I think this one has been here as well a few times from what I recall. 120 to 150,000 yen there. European violin, circa 1900, labelled Postachini. This is another one that's been here a while. 130 to 180,000 yen, seems optimistic. German violin labelled JB Viome, 130 to 180,000 yen there. Once again, nothing too super exciting. Modern French violin labelled G. Apparoute, 1920. Can't quite remember if we've seen this one before, but nothing too crazy either. 140 to 180,000 yen. Old violin labelled Ballestieri. Once again, I think we've seen this one before. 250 to 350,000 yen there, so we're kind of getting up a bit. Looks quite German, as they say. 250, 350,000 yen. Contemporary Italian violin by Matteo Purari, Cremona 2001. This is a new instrument and it's already got bids on it. 300,000, so 300,000 yen. So interesting. Modern French violin, Claudeau School, labelled Briggs Glasgow 1887. So 300 to 400,000 yen on that. Contemporary violin by Takatoshi Hashimoto, Cremona, 1991. Got bids on that as well. 300,000 yen on it. Estimate 300 to 400,000. Looks like a nice violin, and always good to see kind of some nice modern or more modern-ish instruments at auction. Modern Japanese violin by Minazawa Minezo, circa 1950. Handmaker in Kyoto. Interesting kind of back on that. So another Minazawa violin. This one though, it's a lot higher. It's 350 to 450,000 yen there as the estimate. I'm wondering if the others are kind of like production violins or so. I'm not sure if this one has so much kind of higher value. If there's any Japanese viewers out there that know anything about this maker or this workshop, then yeah, it'd be interesting to know. Modern violin labelled Bernadelle. I think we've seen this one before as well. Actually quite nice back there. 400 to 500,000 yen. Quite nice wood choice and scroll work there. 400 to 500,000. An old Viennese violin or school of Sebastian Dallinger, end of the 18th century. 400 to 600,000 yen there. And a good modern Japanese violin by Soroko Murata, Tokyo, 1966, with bow stamp taut. This one I think has been here a little while, but I do like this violin. It's a nice looking instrument, but 500, nice scroll work there, but 500 to 700,000 yen is a fair amount of of money there. So, but nice looking instrument. Contemporary Italian violin by Concetta Negrotti, Cremona 2022, 600 to 800,000 there. No bids on that one. Modern English violin labelled Paul Bayliss, another one that we've definitely seen before, but interesting enough looking violin, 600 to 800,000 yen there. And a modern French violin from the workshop of Nicolas Violins, Miracle, circa 1850. This one I'm not sure if we've seen before, this might be new. There are also bids on this. Yeah, this has the Stentor one on the back actually, I kind of missed that, and this is the real original Stentors there, as opposed to the newer company that's making stuff in China, so that's interesting. 800 to 1.2 million yen there, 800,000 the current bid, so that's quite interesting. Then a modern Italian violin by Rodolfo Marchini, Roma 1977, sold a certificate from Rampal there. This one I'm not sure if I've seen before. This one might also be me new, I'm not 100% sure. Let's see, 1.2 to 1.5 million is the estimate. There's a 1.2 million bid on it, so that's fairly substantial. Maybe we should have a look at some of these pictures a bit bigger and kind of see what's happening there. So it's interesting, and have a quick look at the back as we're kind of getting towards the end of the auction in any case. So let's have a look and see what we can find. Okay, interesting. And moving swiftly on, modern Italian violin by Mario Garda, Mantova 1995, a modelled of Ansaldo Poggi. This is another long-termer there, 1.2 to 1.5 million yen. Old German violin, school of Joseph Klotz Mittenwald. This is also another long kind of timer there, 1.5 to 1.8 million yen. I think that's rather on the high side. Modern violin, Ventopane school there, sold with a certificate of Giorgio Grisales. So that's another long termer, 1.5 to 2 million yen. Interesting looking enough. And an old violin ascribed to David Tekla, another one that's definitely been kind of here around. I mean, once again, a nice looking instrument, but they want 2.5 to 3 million yen on that, so it might struggle a little bit, but interesting to see it again. And then I think finally an Italian violin ascribed to Vincenzo Sannino, Napoli 1900, sold a certificate from San Domenico Stringed Instruments there, 2.9 to 3.5 million yen, so another one that we've seen before. So overall, like an interesting auction, a few things that we've definitely kind of seen before already, some things that we haven't, but I'm glad to see that, like, post-COVID, this auction is getting a bit stronger again. Hopefully we'll see more auctions the next time. So yeah, remember, half of these things finishing in under about 20 hours, and the next half on the next day, so 14th and 15th of December. I'll put a link in the description as always, so check it out and see what you think. And as always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.